What's up, everybody? Here on Latino Free Minds, episode 25. How you doing, Kristen?
Doing good, doing good. Glad to be back. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, for sure. Danny got caught up at work today. I think the end of the month for him kind of gets crazy where he works. It's something that for us, we got to work full-time jobs. Hopefully one day we don't have to. Hopefully this takes off. But until then, hay que chingarle, como dicen.
Keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. This episode, we're going to have Chingo Bling on. Very cool dude. He's got a couple podcasts, one called Red Pill Tamales, the other one called What Did He Said. Have a conversation with him. He's very interesting because, I think he said so himself. He went from Mr. You Can't Deport Us All to, not telling people or, letting them know, hey, we can't be going this democratic route any longer.
Right.
He's got an interesting story because, he's well known, in the Latino community. And, I kind of want to touch on that and how that process went, right? Because I'm sure, he's talked about it. He got a lot of hate, and just seeing how that all went down and how he felt about it at the time. And then, hopefully talk about some current stuff, and, we'll go from there. How was work for you today?
It was good. Keeping me busy, but when you hear that type of stuff, that he had a story of, going from Mr. Can't Deport Us All to where he's at now. And it's like, you mean he grew? He grew as a person, he grew as a human being, and it's like, if you go on your whole life believing in the same thing, man, without ever, changing or seeing, things in a different aspect, which is what he did, right? It's not feasible, the idea of what we're sold, right, by the left.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and like you said, there's nothing wrong with, changing your perspective, all right, or seeing things from a different perspective. I think that's a huge reason why, we started doing this, because, we see things a certain way, and, sometimes you don't hear a lot of people talking about it. And, the majority of Latinos are led to believe, in a certain direction, right? They're led in a certain direction, and, it's not always what they sell you. So, there's nothing wrong with growing, with having a change of view, as long as what we tell everybody on this show is, as long as, you did your own research, you looked up your own things, and you ended up on that conclusion, whether we agree or not, as long as you're the one that got there, that's all we want. We want people to get to their own conclusions and not just get assigned, right? Because I think with a lot of the manipulation that happens with, the internet, social media, news media, celebrities, they call influencers, the majority of them go in one direction, and they're just manipulating people, and people don't even know they're getting manipulated, because sometimes someone influential is telling you something, you tend to believe, or people tend to believe, like, oh, this person must know what they're talking about, right? This person is a high ranking, is a high ranking person, he's very influential, very popular, right? And then, you see it all the time, but once they step out of line, so to speak, then they come after him, right? Everybody's seen, well, you don't even see Kanye anymore, but he's one example, right? He kind of didn't stay with the narrative, went out of line, and I know he was running for president in 2024, supposedly. I don't know how that's going, but I haven't seen him in a minute or heard about him. I think recently Ice Cube posted something about he wants to go on podcasts. Ice Cube, what's up? And talk about
shout out to you.
So we'll see what's up, because anybody that changes their tune versus the narrative kind of gets all that negativity towards them. So,
right.
you know, it'll definitely be an interesting conversation. But let me see if I can add Chingo in, and we'll get this rolling.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo.
Check.
How's it
Can you hear
going?
me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, let me see. There I am.
There you are.
It's weird, dude. I can't hear myself, but if y'all can hear me, then we're good.
Oh, good. I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Dope.
Cool. How's it going, man?
You know, I had to rock my Fresno hat, big dog.
Yeah, taco. Yeah, that's the. Yeah, you know what's up.
The Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies. There you go. Yeah, I think they're having like a big 4th of July thing. I've seen a few billboards about it. I don't know if I'll go, but hey, you know, they're out there. It's gonna get hot this weekend out here in Central Valley.
What temperature?
I think starting tomorrow it'll be like 105.
Oof.
And then Saturday 111, Sunday 110, and then 109 on Monday, something like that.
109, 110, and 111.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get in my car, it be saying stuff like 105, 107, but
dude, it'll be a couple hard days, but you know, probably just stay inside. You know what I mean? Keep the AC on and just roll that way.
What about the homeless? They just kick it, right?
I think so. I don't understand how anybody can be homeless out here. I would have walked. I would have walked to San Francisco during the winter or something.
Oh yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot cooler, right? They don't get the 110s, 111s.
Nah, they don't. They stay in the
water.
Yeah, by the water. I think if it hits like 70 something, they're burning up over there. So
okay, yeah, the homeless got the right idea.
Yeah, they need to go.
You gotta be resourceful.
Have you ever seen the Salt Lake City homeless in the middle of the winter?
No.
Bro, those are like the Navy SEALs are homeless, bro. They got to do 4 years in undergrad homeless before they get the PhD and they get to live in Santa Monica on the beach.
That's good. Oh man, but like I was saying at the intro, man, like you know, you're a very well-known comedian, right? You were doing your music thing. You know, a lot of people know you by the, you know, all the parody songs you did, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time when I tell people about you, the boots, there you go. Gotta put those in a case.
Yeah, dude. We have a bunch of pair here and some at the other spot, but I always mention, I was like, man, when I was so burnt out and like I was just getting so frustrated with just spinning my wheels in show business, I just started like rebelling against cowboy hats and cowboy boots. But anyway, that's a different story. But go on. You were saying.
Yeah. You know, every time I tell them about Chingo Bling, they go like, "Oh." Sometimes I get like, "Who's that?" And then I just play the. Oh my god! Now I'm going blank. The Drake remake you did.
Mm-hmm. The Hotline Bling.
Hotline Bling. Yeah, there you go. And then as soon as I play that, you go, "Oh yeah," you know. And then you know, they remember. And so you in 2020 is kind of when you kind of started coming out before the election, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you were telling people basically, you know, don't fall for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to call this episode "Chingo Warned Y'all."
Got him.
You know, I was watching you on Instagram at the time because I don't think you didn't have the Red Pill Tamales by then, right? I think you were
just Red Pill Tamales. Red Pill Tamales was a reaction to all the hate. So like people basically assuming a lot, not really wanting to have discourse, just kind of like they were assigned a narrative like Chingo Bling hates La Raza, he denounces La Raza, he's against Latinos and immigrants, and he's a coconut trader, vendido, culture vulture. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, that was a whole mouthful. Like, what topic specifically, or can you know what I mean? Like nobody really wanted to kind of ask me, like, all right, bro, what math did you do? Like, what did you factor in? Like, are you telling me that this guy is not Hitler racist, Cheeto fingers? You know what I mean? Like, Like, what information do you have, or why are you willing to look past that?
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, I was just chiming in saying that Red Pill Tamales came after, where it was like, you know, people like yourself and other people that had already kind of caught on to some of the big picture chess global type of moves and things that were happening. And you know, it's really fascinating once you start to kind of like reframe and kind of look back at your how you used to think and like just challenge your biases and just kind of look back like, man, I was just like I know back when I was like, you know, Mr. They Can't Deport Us All, whatever. You know, I'd rarely get into any kind of debates. I know when I dropped an album with that same title, I think there were some like talk radio press requests where some people would try to push back, but I wasn't, you know what I mean? It's a quick radio thing. You're not even really ready and you're so close-minded. It's like they're sitting there talking to you about national security or sovereignty. And it's like, nah, man, it's a human rights issue, bro. And we're being scapegoated by Fox News and y'all not factoring in what immigrants do contribute. And it was a very like feelings, not pay attention to like, bro, come on. Like now it's like, bro, the border itself as an issue. It's like you could be pro raza and all that, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge like not everybody coming through is an angel. You know what I mean? Like some people are like, you know, hey, how did you vote for the orange man who called our people rapists? And then you got to break it down to them like there are some rapists coming through. You know what I mean? There's a lot of unsavory people who have their own agenda, who maybe don't want to contribute. They don't want to be honest. You know, God willing, what they're up to, who they're with, who they're down with, who sent them, what do they have on them? Like just fentanyl alone is a major problem. And I feel like a lot of times Latinos are, for the most part, I'm generalizing, the old way of thinking, it was very just like kind of like victim narrative. You know, they're all angels coming across. Like the news said, Trump was separating, like ripping babies away from the mom's arms, and he was separating the families. And it's like, once you realize how the media plays games with words and persuasion and all the different ways to manipulate, like when they drop a story, what stories they choose to cover, how do they frame the issue? Instead of saying like they're separating families, instead they need to say the real story would have been like, hey man, they weaponizing migrants right now. They trying to do these caravans and they trying to test this dude and they want to overwhelm and they're trying to exploit all the legal loopholes. And the people who are in charge of moving people moving people around, the people profiting from trafficking people, they understand all the legal loopholes. So they're telling them, hey, don't bring these papers with you. You got to wear this wristband. If you're married, if you need a fake marriage, we'll put one together. If you have a baby, if you have a family, that'll be even better. Meet Maria. She's going to pretend to be your wife. Here's a kid. So they're like renting out kids. So the real news story is way more nuanced and complex instead of just they throwing babies in foil blankets like burritos and they got them in the cages and everybody was in an uproar. Everybody was like kids in cages, Eva Longoria. Like, I mean, you just named somebody. Yeah. And AOC had on her white suit. She brought the photographer. But now they lost 85,000 kids. And nobody's all of a sudden, fools gone wild, don't want to be a Democrat. Like Latino Hollywood don't want to talk about politics right now. I'm busy promoting my film at the moment. I got a new TV show. I don't like the same people that were saying F Trump and anybody who voted for him, especially Latinos. Now they're over here trying to promote their book and their movie and their TV show. And it's like, bro, you just dissed half the country.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like, you know, like you said, they're not talking about it no more, you know. I haven't heard anything about, you know, kids in facilities since Biden took office, but it's still happening. If you look up the numbers, it's still happening. And, you know, either way, it's like the media inflates that information too, because a lot of the kids are between, you know, 15, 16 and 17. So it's like, you know, young adults basically.
Yeah. And then like I think Raza has been trained to think about the border issue as just like they're blaming Mexicans. They're blaming Mexicans. They're being mean to Mexicans. They're being mean to Mexicans. But really, it's like, bro, if you follow some of the people like Oscar Blue Ramirez or Anthony Agüero, like just all the different Jorge Ventura, all the different people, Anthony Cabasa, Ben Berquam, there's just like a bunch of people actually going down there.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, for the people that say the border secure, it's just politics, like it's always been that way. Like I've seen your little footage of Haitians up under the freeway, up under the bridge, but it's always been that way. And it's you right-wing conspiracy people. But if they actually looked into it, then they'd see like, yo, these Egyptians, this Ghana, Lebanon, Syria, like places that got civil wars right now, places that got bioweapon labs, like people. I mean, have y'all seen the footage of how many people from the CCP?
Yeah, not just that. You know, the I think it was like a record number of terror watch list folks.
Y puro pelado. They like 22 coming through thugging. It's like, bro, y'all trying to make it sound like it's just women and kids from El Salvador and all that.
Yeah, for sure. It's way more layered, right, than what they give it to you. And you know, a lot of people don't want to hear that because you're right. They think of the border talk as anti-Mexican mostly, right? But hey, it's a whole lot of people coming up through there.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's what triggers people, especially liberals too. You know, not necessarily Latinos also, but like liberals in general. Because I had people I know that, you know, I've known for years, and then, you know, as soon as they found out that, you know, I was going to vote for Trump or I voted for Trump, that's it. They treated me like, you know, not even Latinos treated me like I hated my own race. It's like,
yeah. You know what though? By the same token, I'm grateful for some of the few people, whether like white, Latino, whatever they may be, like people that like when all that was happening and people were like, oh man, you gone crazy and all that kind of stuff. The few that like heard me out, like, hey bro, it's still me. You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro, but you know what I went through with my situation with the ICE and how you just gonna side with the party that's mostly for that. And it's like, bro, it's still me. Like, we got way too much history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those few people that maybe they got triggered, maybe they felt a certain type of way, but the ones that kind of like got over it or learned to look past it, or gave me the benefit of the doubt, or whatever it may be, but they're like, are still cool with me, even though like they were this close.
Yeah. And it was we lost Kristen. He said he lost his connection or something, so we'll see if it comes back. But yeah, it was kind of, you know, to go through that was kind of eye opening for sure, right? Because it kind of, in a sense, you get to know who your real friends are, right? Who's gonna stick through whatever, and that's the thing, dude. With the manipulation and people kind of just falling for the narrative, is, you know, they turn against people they know, man. People turn against their own family, right? You know, and it was real evident, especially during like all the COVID stuff. You know, with the jab, or not wanting to wear a mask or this and that. You know, if you didn't do this, and that's the guilt trip, right? They were giving you. That's something that when it comes to Latinos and the border and border security, it's a guilt trip, because they feel kind of, in a sense, we talked about it before, it's like they feel guilty that they're here, and, you know, maybe the other people that are trying to come up here aren't up here, so they kind of got that guilt. They feel bad, where it's like, no, I can't stop them from coming, right? And then when it was with COVID, it was like, well, they try to make you feel guilty because you're going to kill all the old people, all the people with, you know, other sicknesses and all that. So, you know, it was definitely that whole experience. It was definitely eye opening.
Yeah,
big way.
I think it was like at that point when the media was doing all that, that's when I started really like thinking to myself, like, wow, I can't believe it was never this so in your face. Like you just said, like COVID brought out their methods and just like it got more aggressive to like, you know, our patience is losing thin, and you know, all the pilots, Southwest Airlines, we won't give a damn if y'all want to go on strike. Like soldiers, military, this job, these hospitals, nurses, a huevo, a fuerzas. You couldn't have no religious exception. You couldn't, like, they were quick to label you. And then all of a sudden they want to just be like, well, you know, people made mistakes and we have to move forward. And it's like, bro, all of a sudden you want to be all like your claws ain't showing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that, you know, they can't move forward, man. Like, imagine all the people that had a family member die and they couldn't be there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I doubt they've moved forward so easily. So it's crazy, man. Because I remember, you know, even working, you know, my full-time job and all that, when Biden basically did like try to do a little loophole thing, would go through OSHA. You know, that was a real intense time, I think, for anybody that was working, because now you got OSHA, you know, who's supposed to be taking care of health and safety for you know, all workers, start mandating a vaccine. And
did you experience your job? Like, did they tell you like, hey, bro, you holding out, but I don't know if you saw the news, man. Like, was it one of those things where it's like, hey, man, you got till Friday?
Nah. Where I work, you know, the bosses were pretty cool. They're pretty chill about it. They weren't how could you put it? They weren't forcing it. They were just kind of recommending it. But if people weren't getting it, they weren't, you know, it wasn't crazy, right? There were still other guidelines in place technically that you could follow if you weren't jabbed. But, you know, they were pretty, it was pretty cool. They were pretty cool about it. I never felt like, oh, damn, I'm going to have to do it. You know what I mean? I never felt that pressure.
I bet a lot of families did go through that. Were like restless nights. Like, bro, I think I'm hoping watching the news. Like, is it going to go away? Is there a cure? Are they going to stop the mandates? Yeah. But, you know, it makes you kind of like if you factor that into everything this regime is doing, it's like, bro, were y'all really misled by the fake data? Were y'all really misled and y'all were just like the benevolent lie? Like, were y'all really seriously thinking y'all were helping by forcing people? Like, y'all were just subscribed to that theory, depending on what scientists you were choosing to follow? Or was it a more sinister type of thing where it's like we know this stuff don't work. Mm-hmm. We know you can't sue them. You know what I mean? We know you're going to need all type of boosters. Like, we know you're still going to be able to spread it. We know there's side effects, and we know that we about to force y'all. It makes you wonder.
Yeah. And, you know, here at home, you know, from my job, I didn't feel it, but my wife was, where she was working at the time, you know, they basically gave her, it's like an ultimatum. It's like, you get it, or, you know, we're going to find your replacement. So, and that, you know, when you're working, right, we're not rich, right? We got to work to get by. You know, that's stressful because now you don't know if the income you're relying on is going to be there because of this thing, right? And, you know, unfortunately for her, she had to leave that job, right? A job that and I'm sure she's not the only one, right? But, you know, she was at that company for like about 6 years, never had any negative, what you call it?
Experiences,
reprimands, nothing. She always did her job and cool. But as soon as this thing came along, it was like, basically get it or go. And,
wow.
You know,
was that like an HR type of situation?
Yeah, it was like a company. It was so stupid, man, because the company that did it basically sent like the whole company a memo, and, you know, she showed it to me. And the way they worded it was dumb, because they were like, because of the president's executive order, you guys have to get the vaccine. But it's like, hold up, he didn't. That's not his. He didn't do that, right? But that's how they worded it. and that's what they were rolling with. No religious exemption, none of that. So, she had to, she left her job, found one that was kind of in between, and then now she's got a job where she worked from home. So, in a sense, it kind of, thankfully, thank God it worked out. But, she had to leave the job that she was doing for a while just because of that.
Man, right now while you're talking, I'm thinking about that some of that food we had out there, bro. That the street corner hibachi, number one, and then Chef Paul's Cafe, them chicken wings.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. The hibachi was good for sure.
So how's California, bro? Like, what's Newsom? What's cracking?
Newsom's trying to be president. I don't know what the hell he's doing right now. Now California, I mean, it's after every election cycle, it gets crazy because you got your state legislators, your state assembly, and it's super majority Democrat. So anything, for the most part, I mean, people have been rising up more, calling them, going against this stuff, putting pressure on them, basically. But really, the legislation that they want to pass out here is all super left leaning. I think they have a bill right now that basically allows a 12-year-old, like, if they want to leave the home because they don't feel affirmed. There's another one where if, as a parent, you don't affirm your child's feelings, you can have your child taken away, basically. So it's a lot of a lot of crazy things. We have, you've heard of Scott Wiener, right?
Fill me in on exactly what he's about.
He's one of the state legislators here in California, but all his bills have been, he's the one that basically got we have a law now where if a minor is in a relationship with an adult, as long as it's within 10 years, they don't have to register. I don't know if you remember hearing that at all.
I think so, like the age gap.
Yeah. So he's the author of that. And, every bill that dude tries to put in place literally removes parent consent, which is weird. So it's something going on with that guy, but he's in government, right? It's like, it's like Adam Schiff, right? Adam Schiff was lying his head off, but he's in government.
I'm reading this book, and one of the quotes was, I'm a paraphrase. It was like, when government fails, it gets rewarded. So it's one of those things where, like, ahí se meten y entre más la cagan. Like,
yeah,
like basically, like, I'm reading this one book that Juan Big Stoner, one of the members of the TIA, he sent me this one book, Why Government Schools Are Bad for Your Kids. It makes you look at public school different. Like, basically, it's run by bureaucrats. It's all a bureaucracy. The teachers' unions and all that, super left. Basically, they serving your kids a bad product. They're not competing. It's free. They don't have to give you get what you pay for. And then they got to take all comers. So, like, if you got a whole bunch of new Venezuelan people in your city, like, it's going to be some Venezuelan kids. And, if some of the kids can't keep up and some are disruptive, ni modo, your kid has to navigate that. Some kids are getting put on Ritalin. Some kids are promiscuous. Some kids are starting to slang dope because they're bored. So if you put your kids in these 13-year government school bids, whoever controls the textbooks and the educational system, they steer it, and they it's basically like all the Republicans are going to take out what they don't like. All the Democrats are going to take out what they don't like. And then you're left with this thing where they're not really getting a whole lot. Like, they're not going to be up there talking about, we need to end the Fed, and this is what the central banks, and they're not going to be up there saying that. It's all going to be very just like, communism is where everyone's equal. All right, moving right along.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I think a lot of young people don't realize that, right? Where they want equality everywhere, right? With basically the equality of outcome, and they don't realize how bad that is, right? I think the way we have it now, which is equality of opportunity, I think everyone that's here has the equal opportunity to, you know, make it. Some have a harder road, but at the end of the day, you still got that opportunity to get out, right? You know, look at Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? They started off rough, but look, where are they now? So, you know, if they can do it, anybody can do it, right? Obviously, they had their talents and all that, but there's opportunity. So that whole oppression that they sell you, is it really true? Because if you look at them, you know, is it really there?
Yeah, they're just gonna say the comeback is like, well, those are exceptions to the rule, and they succeeded in spite of the injustice and white supremacy. That's, you know, it's everywhere. You know, we can't measure it. You know, we can't really, like, okay, well, give me an example, call it out, like, you know, and it's like, oh, well, you know, it's set up already. You know.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, right? We're what's the new thing? Hispanic white supremacists. So,
man, bro, like that was such. There's always something every day to keep us divided and keep us arguing and keep us distracted and everything else. And I remember that day, I was like, oh, great, here we go. Like you got these stupid wannabe journalists putting out this fake, overblown idea based on fake data and inflated stats. You know what I mean? And it's basically just a slick way to other people and let all the lefties be like, see, New York Times said, Chingo Bling. Dude, there's this dude, I think his name is Cesar Espinosa, because he was always trolling, and then I threw his name in a skit. That's how I remember his name. And somebody tagged me. They're like, yo, this dude literally just called you a white supremacist on like local TV. Like they were interviewing this dude because he has some little organization, like he went and got a DBA, and they were interviewing him about, like, I don't even know what it was. It might have been like Hispanic heritage, like just, oh, we're here at the park doing an initiative. And he took it upon himself somehow. Like I don't even think I saw the clip, but the dude messaged me like, if you want to debate now, what's up? But basically they were interviewing him about something. He's like, and one of our initiatives for our organization is we trying to counter the Latino white supremacists like Chingo Bling. And it's like, what, bro? You just like totally slandered me on the TV. Good thing people don't really watch TV no more. So
yeah, right. Nobody. I mean, you know, the news media, that's dying, man. All your news and stuff, you know, you get it from, you know, Twitter, podcasts, but you know, those big mainstream MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. You know, Fox News letting go of Tucker and then basically trying to keep him shut till 2025. That's a weird move, but you know, it just,
oh wow,
you know, it just goes to show that they're dying off, and people are looking for alternative ways to get their sources, because, you know, with everything with Trump and what he dealt with in the media with COVID and everything that the media did, it's, you know, people's faith in basically any institution at this point is probably the lowest it's ever been. And
I think maybe half the country is like that, and the other half is like, dude, what are you talking about? You know, like they're getting mad at Fluffy because he went on Rogan.
I saw that they were giving him crap for that, but it's like, dude, it's Rogan. If me and you, I'm sure if Rogan say, hey guys, come on,
absolutely,
we're going. It's Rogan. Like that's the biggest platform you could get, you know. And I haven't heard the episode, but you know, let's say Fluffy's putting out a special. Why would he not go on Rogan? You know how many people are going to listen to that? It's like,
and yeah, exactly. Because I guess the people that are mad, I guess maybe they just kind of bought the idea that he's like a racist or something.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the thing, right? He's a racist, and or was he giving misinformation with the horse paste or whatever?
He said the N-word. I guess Fluffy responded to one of his trolls, and then I retweeted the whole thing. What did I say? Oh, I said I'm glad I got rid of all my woke fans, because if you're trying to do stand-up comedy, the worst audience member is going to be a woke, offended person that thinks everything is hate speech. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you don't understand humor and comedy, like comedy isn't nice. So if you start roasting somebody or the punchline is crazy, like the funniest stuff is inappropriate.
Yeah.
The funniest stuff that's going to have you rolling on the ground, like peeing your pants, like, my God, stop. Is just off the wall, absurd, extreme, silly, something just crazy. And, the last thing you want is a bunch of like, you know, these woke Mecha student, Chicano studies, like this is stolen land, Joe Rogan's racist, how dare you, Fluffy. Like, they're just going to ruin the show for everybody. Like the ones that, no, move on. Like somebody tries to do a joke about a certain community or something like, that's not funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, lady, who the hell asked you?
Exactly. And that's what I like, you know, as a fan of, you know, comedy and music. I've always wondered, like, why would comedians and rappers be so woke? Because at the end of the day, all they're doing is limiting their speech, right? Their freedom to, like a comedian, like you said, push the boundaries, right? The more offensive you can be, it's like the funnier it's going to be because it's a joke, right? The same with music, right? There are certain things you say on music that you might not say in real life, but it's music. So I never understood why comedians and you know, musicians go so hard for the left, which is, you know, trying to censor what you can and can't say. You know, it's weird. Like Eminem, for example. You know, I know he says some crazy stuff in his songs, but he's out there pandering for Democrats. It's like I don't get it. I don't get it.
Nah, I don't either. I guess, I don't know. He just took it upon himself to be like the Keith Olbermann of rap and just start trying to like be obsessed with Trump and his TDS, like, you know, and orange, so I'm in the snoring, you know, Nazi, Cheeto thing, you know, and his skin's orange. And it's like, all right, bro, like, man, I liked you better when you were popping pills, talking about your mom, trying to kill your baby mama.
I know, right? Yeah, that whole part, like, you know, I don't know if I'll ever understand it, but you know, it is what it is at this point. You know, it's like you kind of with what's been going on recently with the Bud Light stuff, Target stuff. You kind of, you know, on your own, you choose like, all right, I'm not gonna put my money there, right? I don't gotta announce it to everybody and all that, but just kind of, hey, all right, I'm not gonna be buying any Eminem albums anytime soon, you know? So,
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. What was I gonna ask you? When you were talking about stuff in 2020 and after the election, or during COVID, whenever, what is like the biggest thing that you can say, like, damn, I warned you guys about this, and you know, maybe you didn't listen. Is there anything in your mind that sticks out as like, I wish more people would have heard this or listened to this?
I mean, I remember just talking about, like, you know, the military industrial complex, like we're going to be back at war, because I thought it was impressive that Trump didn't start no new wars. You know what I mean? Like, he had to blow up a couple people and he had to like punk a couple leaders and stuff like that. But like, I was just like, okay, your tax is about to go up, your freedoms are going to go down, your free speech is going to go away. Like, you know, they're chipping away at this. And then also, I think by then everybody knew about the hard drive from hell. So I was like, man, a lot of these countries got dirt on this dude. And, you know, one of our biggest threats is, you already know, over there, the CCP. And, you know, so, I mean, I don't know how many, if we red pilled anybody. I think there was like a few messages here and there, like, hey, man, I thought you were tripping at first, bro. But like, I'm starting to see some of this stuff, bro. But, I mean, if people ain't really got it by now, like if they're not peeping game about any of these agendas, like if they're not looking at the media differently or the science differently, or the government differently, or this administration differently. Like if they don't at least be like, all right, I think they sold us a bill of goods. Like these are wolf tickets. This is not what they made it seem like it was going to be. Like if you fell for the idea that he's got 8 people or 16 people checking out his speech in a gymnasium with like hula hoops, and if you really believe that like he's just as popular, if not he's more popular, it's just that you don't have to wear a Biden hat to like democracy, and I don't have to like his merch to vote for the guy or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like if people still not admitting like, all right, bro, we were better off with the other guy. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping for, man. Like just that day-to-day experience from when Biden took over to today, and everything's worse. So I'm hoping that, a lot of people, maybe people that were independent and maybe didn't like Trump or whatever, that they realize like, nah, I'm paying more for this, that, and this and that. I'm hoping that that's enough to get them to, hopefully we correct the course in 2024. But, hey, it's like I said earlier, it's like there's not a lot of trust, right, in our elections and these institutions and the people in charge. So, we'll see it. It'll be interesting for sure. But I know you didn't have that much time, but what was I gonna say? Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I got your tour dates up. So how's the touring going?
Good, man. I was gonna mention earlier, there's actually a couple venues, bro, where they acting funny now. You know what I mean? They like, I won't go into detail, but it's unfortunate that like because of Trump and COVID and just the notion that you can't agree to disagree. But anyway, some people took it upon themselves to like wage economic warfare. But yeah, tour's going great, man. We just did House of Blues. It was super packed, big old place. We're headed to Oklahoma City next. I'll be working with Willie Barcena, featuring for him. There it is. Oklahoma City, McAllen, Chicago, Arlington, Texas, Ontario, California, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Just check out the website, man. I appreciate it. ChingoBling.com. And you can find everything on the website. But
that's Chris Perez, Selena Chris
Perez? Selena Chris Perez, yep. Yeah, we're doing Carlsbad with him and Odessa.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Nice, man.
Well, cool, man. I need to learn how to do that little trick you just did where you had to pop up big.
Yeah, it's the I'm figuring this all out because we just switched to StreamYard like I want to say like a month ago. Because we're using Riverside, but this one has all the overlays, the clips. It's definitely way more. It's easier to use, and you can include a lot. So yeah, that one right there was just an overlay that I put, and then I just kind of changed the opacity so you can kind of still see us.
Man, you got to send me that, bro.
And this is right here too.
Yeah, when you're done with the overlay, man, let's send it to me.
Yeah, for sure. I'll send this to you, and then I got all your socials right there, your Instagram, Twitter, and your YouTube. So last thing before you go, did you see that? I'm pretty sure you saw this already, but this thing was funny.
COVID. I know. Dude, you know what I knew? There was trouble when anyone that came to our country didn't have to get a vaccine. And I go, if you're telling me I can't go to work, but everyone coming in doesn't have to get one, I go,
well, once we found out when Fauci said, okay, I'm sorry, but if you've had 2 boosters and 2 vaccines, you can get and give COVID to another guy who's had 5 vaccines and 4 boosters. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between a vaccine and a booster? I don't know. It's just more vaccine, but booster sounds better. Anyway, a guy with 25 vaccines would get and give COVID to another guy with 25 vaccines. That's why I'm introducing the daily COVID shot. Every day you get a shot. By the time you get to your car, you got no immunity. But it's a beautiful 39 seconds.
Hey, the truth is funny, bro.
It is.
And I'm very refreshed to see these Hollywood dudes that I grew up watching on TV, like actually not only have common sense, but actually have the courage, because these days, bro, they'll write a hit piece on you by the time you log off.
For real. Yeah, I caught that before we came on. I thought that was funny. Dana Carvey's his impressions have always been pretty on point.
Yeah, there's hope, man. When you got people like that speaking up, you know, and making light, because you know that's an example of how comedy is powerful and important, because they're in there just kind of shooting the shoot, but they're saying something that was traumatic for a lot of people, unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like, bro, they were really trying to like coerce, bully, intimidate, like corrupt ass people, bureaucrats getting all this money, demonizing treatments that do work. Like once you see all the behind the scenes, like, oh, bro, you was collecting royalties. Oh, you was getting paid off this, and you knew about this because the email said that. It's one of those things where it's like, bro, we can't let these people get off the hook. Like somebody got to get in trouble, jail, fired, disgrace, something.
Yeah, no, and that's like you said, right? And that's the kind of stuff that, you know, people like you, people like us were trying to point out, you know, when it was happening. And, you know, you had YouTube and social media, you know, I had things removed where, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if I said that today, it's still a fact, right? You know, so, you know, I'm pretty sure you dealt with that as well. Not speaking, you know, that's the thing, right? If you don't just speak to the narrative, then you're getting shadow banned. You know what I mean? You know, I'll post something on Instagram and YouTube, and then it'll have thousands of views on Instagram, 0 on YouTube. So it's like, you know what I mean? Or on any other platform, but you know, it's stuff that we have to deal with and we're battling with, but you know, we're gonna keep it going, right? You gotta keep up the fight, so to speak. Yeah. But anywho, man, well, I appreciate you for coming on. And you know, hopefully we get you on again and talk about some more stuff. I seen something before this that I think Texas is majority Latinos now. Something like that. So, you know, I think we have the Latino community is naturally conservative. You know, we believe that. I think they just get manipulated into other things. And like I said, that guilt, and, you know, it's like they know it, but they don't know it. And I think that's where, you know, people like you, us, and Anthony Cabasa, and you know, we had Art Del Cueto on too. And, you know, those kind of people, you know, they're giving you reality regardless of how you feel about it. So, you know, keep doing your thing, and you know, we'll be here.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the invite, man.
All right then, man. Well, thank you for coming on, man.
All right, thank you, dog. Peace.
All right, cool. Well, that was Chingo Bling. You know, thanks for him to you know, for coming on. And you know, for everybody that tuned in, thank you. I had Christian on earlier, but I think he lost his connection and didn't pop back in. But we appreciate the support. You know, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.